Hello and welcome to Wednesday Waffle. Well, what am I going to talk about? What's been happening? Our upcoming videos? The waffle? And maybe a little bit about post-lockdown stuff. Did I hear you say post-lockdown stuff? Yes, I did. That'll come at the end. Totally unscripted. Yes, there's a script with it. Honest, there's a script. Oh, all right. Totally unthought about, but I've just listened to what the First Minister's got to say, so I'm going to have something to say about it, at least the bits that I'm interested in. Okay, so what's been happening? Well, we've been to Cloddy Moss. Many of you will know the place. I've been before, we've been before, and we went for a walk and a fly and a general exercise and clear the head. I have had my jab, at least the first dose. The Oxford one, more about that later. You might have gathered that from the thumbnail. Okay, upcoming videos. On Friday, Alan Reid, and I'll walk, exercise, etc. at that lovely little car park, Tom and Towel, Glenlivet. Monday, we focus on Toscaig Pier. For those that don't know, Toscaig Pier is the other side of Applecross. Over the Bealachna Bar to Applecross or Shore Street and turn left. When you hit the end of the road, turn round and come back about 2 yards and keep dry. And we park up beside the pier and we show you around there, tell you a little bit about the area. Next Wednesday there'll be another one of these. Something's bound to tick me off again. And then on Friday next week, Port Gordon Harbour. We park up at the harbour, I go for a flight and a walk, we see the seals and generally have a look about. So, what am I going to waffle about? Well, given the thumbnail and the fact I've had my jab, it's got to be, hasn't it? We'll get to the thumbnail shortly. But initially, when I first got to the centre, I was dismayed at the number of people there were hanging about. People who were there to help. But I was soon re-educated. I walked up to the place, up to the doors, where I was met by people who explained to me what was going to happen and what to do. In through the doors, cleansed my hands, and when the door was opened for me, and in I went. I was directed to the person who was sitting there to take my name and details, etc., and then directed to the left. From there, I was directed down this way, and halfway down that way, another person said a little bit further, and then at the end of the 20 yards was another person directing me across to the right. 10 yards away was another person who directed me to turn right and pointed to me at the cubicle where I was going to have my jab. Sat down, the nurse took my details. Now they gave me a nice leaflet, and it would have been nice if that nice leaflet, instead of just having a Q code to get it in whatever other languages, had a Q code that was me with all my details, and she was just going to ping with her tablet, and then, but no, it had to go through name, date of birth, where I lived, inside leg measurement, all the usual stuff they take. So there was a bit, a bit there. Then she said, any reactions to any vaccines you've had in the past? So I explained that yellow fever gives me a sore neck, and other than that, no. She proceeded to give me the jab, and I had to ask her if she'd actually done it. There was no pain, no nothing. Whether the needles are especially sharp or what, I don't know. No, there was nothing. It's vaccinations, and believe me, as being in the military, I've had one or two in the time. Anyway, she said, "Are you driving?" "I am driving." "Okay, you need to go and sit for 15 minutes in case there's any reaction." Standard thing for flu jabs, 5-10 minutes. So off I went, sat in my cubicle. I brought my book with me, so I was able to read, but I didn't read very much because this is where my initial thoughts on there being too many people involved in this were disabused. People seem not to be able to follow simple instructions. Go to the left, walk down there, keep walking down there. To be honest, to keep the flow going, they probably could have done with 20 people helping people to walk the 40 or 50 yards and still not being any better off. I couldn't believe it. How the people were getting their directions wrong. They'd come, the simplest one, they'd come to the sitting down point, they'd sit down, have their rest, and then get told they could go after 5 or 15 minutes, depending whether they were driving or not. Yeah, they would then, instead of walking and turning left and going through the door, would carry on, straight on, if they hadn't been redirected back through the door. Coming in, there was a line. There was a keep your distance sticker. Many people were going to that sticker and shouting at the person. No, it was a line you could step to. And they were told that. Did they? No. It was just, if there hadn't been that many people, it would have been chaos. So I've got no complaints. It went well, it went quickly, and it was superb. I have no problems with it. As I say, I thought I was going to, but I didn't. So, why the thumbnail then? And no, it's nothing to do with what's been in the news yesterday and today. In fact, it was in the news on Friday as well, the day after I'd had my jab. But no, it's not about that. To be honest, and you know me about my research, if you look into the numbers that are involved, you're more likely to win the lottery than you are to die from the COVID vaccine. And while that's sad for those people that go around winning lotteries, I've not won it since it started, so I'm not likely to win this one. No, the reason I want to know if I can sue is people have been talking about side effects and sore and tired and being sleepy for a day and aching joints and wiped out, and it's all blah blah. I had none of that. Still had none of that nearly a week on. So, can I sue? That's the question. Okay. It wasn't the question, but I thought, to hell with it. Why say no problem whatsoever, go and get it done, when I could have a bit of fun with it. Yeah. I'm not going to say, I thought I might talk about certain events to do with the death of Susan Everard, but it's not my place. And it's really, all those protests and things, it's not those people's places either. It's happened. Yes, it's a problem. But I grew up during a time, well, I say grew up, it was in the early days of my Air Force career, when women were feared to go out in the part of England my parents lived, full stop, because of the Ripper. And it's just, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to say any more about that. It's partly because it's London and partly because it's diverting attention from somewhere, from something else. If you don't know what it is, go and have a look at the news. Well, not the news per se, but proper news. Anyway, talking of news, the The First Minister was on her feet and saying, yes, here in Scotland we hope to have everybody out and about, travel restrictions removed by the 26th of April. They've confirmed that date now. Before it was just a probable. The only plus side is, really, no, before I mention that, there is still, you can't travel basically in Scotland. You can't travel outside your local authority area. So you can't come up from Cornwall to go to Caithness. I doubt very much whether you'll be stopped at the border, but I doubt sometime your number plate will be picked up and you'll be looked at by the boys in blue. I don't know, but you still can't travel to Scotland from England. And we can't travel to England from Scotland. However, from the 2nd of April, we will be allowed, the stay-at-home order will be lifted from 2nd of April. So that's something to look forward to as we can go out within Moray, etc. And as an aside on that, I'm glad they've decided to go with local authority rather than health authority. Just makes things simpler for people who might not know their health authority but know their Morays from their Grampians, from their Highland and Highlands, or their Cornwalls from their Devons, etc. down south. But I don't know how England are doing it. In Scotland it looks like it's going to be local authority, which means next time she's on her feet making announcements they'll change that. Anyway, I've waffled on enough. I hope you've enjoyed this. There'll be another waffle next week where no doubt I will have been triggered by something and enjoy the footage to come. Thank you for watching this week's Desmond's Donuts. Please take nothing but memories, leave nothing that tracks. We hope you enjoyed it and you'll join us next time. In the meantime, please think about subscribing.